Hi, I just love that tag that says it's Church at 434 in Motion, don't you? I mean, you got to hear that and see that, and the music's is there. So now you're expecting to get the latest release of what is going to be the next show for the Church at 434 in Motion. You're getting ready to enter a special series. This is an intro that we're creating just for the church release. We're getting ready to talk about the fear virus. And so there's a series of episodes that are coming up where we're going to talk about fear. These were created as a resource for Face the Fear, but we wanted to release them for you as well because you sometimes have to deal with fear, and there are other people out there that you know that have to deal with fear. And so we're getting ready to enter to what is a series of back-to-back releases that will come out on our regular release days that talk all about fear. And so we wanted you to know that. And so each day on the church release, on the Church 434 in Motion, you're going to hear this all over again. It's not a rerun. It's just me giving you the tag to let you know that as soon as I'm quiet, there's going to be a brand new screen that comes up to give you the title of the new episode, and we want you to enjoy it, and hopefully it's a great resource that will help you deal with the virus of fear in your own life, as well as helping others in their life. Okay, that's it. I'm done talking. Let's get on with the new episode. Hi. Welcome back to another edition of the Fear Virus. We're talking about how to have a holy, healthy terror. And we've been talking about some things related to a passage of Scripture that takes place. It is really kind of a strange passage where Jesus changes and all of a sudden some dead guys who've been dead show up. And there's this whole conversation that takes place and the bright light and the voice from heaven. I mean, it's a passage that's just loaded with stuff that kind of boggles the mind. But we've been talking about the things that we need to learn from it and apply to our lives that change things. And so we've talked about seeing things differently and hearing things differently. And so this edition talks about learning to do things differently. We need to learn to do things without fear. Matthew 17:7 ends this way. It says, "But Jesus came and he touched him and to get up, he said, and don't be afraid." See, when you think about the story that we've been looking at and the description I just gave you of it, and as you think back over the previous episodes, there's a whole lot here to kind of be scared of. That kind of spooks you out a little bit. I got that. But yet, in the context, understanding that you're in the presence of God and what you're hearing about him and what you're seeing is good. And then Jesus himself looks in at Peter and James and John and says, don't be afraid. I got a feeling that Peter, James, and John came down the mountain with a little bit of a swagger. Because with a Messiah like that, who could hurt him? And in verse 8 it says, when they looked up, they saw no one except Jesus. So after that, Elijah and Moses were gone. It was just Jesus. And they had to decide if they were going to be different because of their encounter. Well, what was their encounter? Well, they saw things they had never seen before in a way they'd never seen them. That's a good thing. They heard things in a way they had never heard them before. They heard them clearly. That's a good thing. And so now the choice they had to make is, are they willing to do something with what they've seen and with what they've heard? Are you willing to do things differently in your life? See, there's a lot of stuff out there that can hurt us. I mean, like, for example, next time an octopus traps you on the ocean floor, don't panic. Launch into a flurry of somersaults and you'll escape with a few sucker marks. That's how you get away from an octopus. Do you know that? As you move to the surface, watch out for sharks. If you punch the eyes and gills, those are the most sensitive part of the shark, and you might survive it, unless, of course, it's bruised from jaws, and then you're in deep trouble anyway. The same is true for alien encounters next time you're abducted. Go for the invader's eyes, but be careful. Don't think about going for their eyes before you do, because supposedly they can read minds. So if you think about it before you do it, they're going to be able to stop you. Now, gorillas can't read your mind, but they have an iron grasp. So if that happens, rub their arms and make a smacking sound. They're going to think then you're grooming them and you might be another gorilla and they won't crush you. I mean, it could be worse. You could be plummeting from the sky in a malfunctioning parachute or trapped in the elevator or buried alive in a steel coffin. Those are all worst case scenarios, and those are all things that if you don't think about it, you'll have to be ready to do something to survive. We all have fears. We're all trying to survive. But yet in the passage we saw something that is simple and yet complicated at the same time. Easy to say, tough to do. It's an act of choice for you. It takes a choice of the will. Will you look at things differently? And if not, why not? Are you satisfied with being afraid? Are you willing to hear things differently? And if not, why not? And then finally, are you willing to do something different? Because why would you want to live life afraid? Think about that. We'll come back next time and continue talking about what it means to live with a holy terror.